Exercise 26. It has 2 stars. Let's see why this has 2 stars. First, let us see what the exercise asks us to do. We are given an abelian group which has 2 subgroups of orders m and n respectively. We then have to prove that the abelian group also has a subgroup whose order is the least common multiple of m and n. Now, what Herstein has to say about this problem is also interesting. He says, don't be discouraged if you don't get this problem with what you know about group theory up to this stage. I don't know anybody, including myself, who has done it subject to the restriction of using material developed so far in the text. So he himself was unable to solve this problem using only what we know so far about group theory from this book. But it is fun to try. I have had more correspondence about this problem than about any other point in the whole book. So there is a solution which uses only, which obeys this restriction, which uses only material developed so far in the text. It's not by me, of course. It's by someone named Robert Bills. The solution we are going to see today is a slight elaboration of Bills' solution. So let us see the solution. You can find it as a note here. Let me continue from here. Okay, so this is the address. T and F Online, Taylor and Francis Online. .com DOI/ABS /10.4169. I hope that I have got the address correct. If you don't find anything, just let me know in the comment section. 2989 09 capital X 477 032. Here you can find the note by Robert Bills. However, you have to have access to this to see the full note. It is only 3 pages long. Anyway, so we are now going to look at the solution. So let G be an abelian group that has subgroups H and K such that order of H is M and order of K is N. So it's the situation where we are in right now. Now we do something, we prove a result about finite abelian groups. And in every step you have to carefully notice that whatever we are going to use will be from before this set of exercises. Whatever we have only seen so far, only that will be used. Okay, so let P be a finite abelian group such that order of P is of this form. Order of P is a product of two integers a and b, where a comma b are relatively prime integers both greater than 1. Okay, so for example, order of P may be 6, which can be written as 2 times 3, or it may be 12 also, which can be written as 2 square times 3, where 2 square can be taken as A and 3 can be taken as B. In particular, it means that P is a finite abelian group whose order is a composite number. Okay. Then, since A and B are relatively prime, so we already know what that means. Then, AS plus BT is equal to 1 for some integers S and T, and which is a result from the section 1.3. So it's within that restriction. For some integers S and T. Okay. Now we are going to define two subsets of P. Let us define PA to be the set of all nth powers of elements of P, and like that PB is the set of all bth powers of elements of bth power of elements of P. Don't confuse this PA with something else. For example, why I am saying this is, the reason is this. Say A is 2, then according to our notation we would denote this set by P square. It has another meaning, which is the product of P with itself, which is actually equal to P. So it's not that thing, okay, it's not that product. In this solution, PA and PB mean these things, and it's not my notation, it's Robert Wills notation, so I can't do anything. Anyway, so these are two sets. Now our first job is to show that they are subgroups of P. Clearly, PA is non-empty. There is no doubt about that, because P is non-empty, so PA is non-empty. Let G1 and G2 be two elements in P. Then, since P is abelian, we calculate the product of these two nth powers. Because P is abelian, this product is actually equal to this. It's an identity that is true in an abelian group. In fact, I think in a previous exercise we proved this also. You can apply induction on A to prove this. and this is again an eighth power where G1 G2 belongs to P, so that means it belongs to PA. So we have shown that PA is closed under the operation in P, which means that PA is a subgroup. Why do we not have to also verify that, say for example, the inverse of G1A is also in PA? That is because P is a finite group, and as such PA is a finite subset. So from a previous result, if we have a finite set, then it only needs to be non-empty and closed for it to be a subgroup. So that's why we write, since P is finite and hence PA is finite, PA is a subgroup of P. Similarly, PB is also a subgroup of P. Okay, so the subsets we have defined, they turned out to be subgroups of P. Now it's time for us to use this equation. Now, for any element G in P, we have G is equal to G to the power 1, and in place of 1 we can write AS plus BT, which using the rules of exponent can be written like this. Now note that this G to the power A by definition belongs to PA, and this G to the power B by definition belongs to PB. So this power G to the power A whole to the power S, it belongs to PA, because now we have proved that PA is a subgroup. It's not just any subset, it's a subgroup. So this belongs to P. The first factor belongs to PA, the second factor belongs to PB. So this product belongs to the product of the subgroups PA, PB. Thus, P is a subset of PA, PB. But PA and PB are subgroups of P, so their product is also a subset of P. But we also have PA, PB, hence P is equal to PA, PB. We have been able to write P as a product of these two particular subgroups. Okay. Now, let Q be a maximal subgroup of PA whose order is relatively prime to A. So now something new. we are assuming that Q is a maximal subgroup of PA whose order is relatively prime to A. What does it mean? It means that Q is a subgroup of PA whose order is relatively prime to A, and it is maximal in the sense that we will not get, say, another subgroup Q of PA whose order is also relatively prime to A and it contains Q properly. That we will not get. That's what we mean by maximality of Q. Now the question is, why does such a Q exist? It may not exist. I mean, how are we suddenly sure that such a maximal subgroup will exist? And the justification for that is this. Or we can write here. Note that Q exists because this trivial subgroup is a subgroup of PA with order of this subgroup and A relatively prime, because its order is 1, so which is relatively prime to A, the GCD is 1. And okay, so what does it mean? It means that PA has at least one subgroup whose order is relatively prime to A. Then it will also have a maximal subgroup, a subgroup of which satisfies this condition, and that is also of maximum size. Why? Because P is finite. So if E itself is not a maximal subgroup whose order is relatively prime to A, then that means you will get a bigger subgroup whose order is also relatively prime to A. If that turns out to not be maximal, you will get another bigger subgroup which contains this one, okay, whose order will be relatively prime to A. But this process cannot go on indefinitely, because for this process to go on, you need more and more new elements to make those bigger and bigger subgroups. Since PA itself is finite, so at one stage you will run out of elements. So you are bound to get a maximal subgroup at some stage. And because this is a subgroup of PA with this and PA is finite. PA is finite because P is finite. Okay. Now our claim is this. We claim that this maximal subgroup should be equal to PA itself. To prove this claim, we will suppose that's not the case and arrive at a contradiction. Suppose Q is not equal to PA. Since Q is a subgroup of PA, which means, so this means that PA has something in itself which is not in Q. So we can choose an element, say HA, belonging to PA minus Q, where H is in P. Okay, such an element will exist because of our supposition that Q is a proper subset of PA. Now, consider the product of the cyclic subgroup generated by HA and Q. Okay, the cyclic subgroup is a subgroup which we already know. Every element generates a cyclic subgroup in any group. So we can consider this product. Now because we are in an abelian group, so this product will itself be a subgroup of PA, since PA is abelian. PA is abelian because it's a subgroup of P which is given to be abelian. Since PA is abelian, this product is a subgroup. Okay, we can as well write it as a separate line. Is a subgroup of PA. Okay. Now, what about the order of this subgroup? We already have a formula for calculating the order of a product of two subgroups, which we have already seen. So that means it is something which we have already got. So we are allowed to use it. Okay, this is a legal result. Now, let me write it here. Order of this cyclic subgroup times Q. From our formula, this turns out to be equal to order of the cyclic subgroup times order of Q divided by order of their intersection. Okay, we have just used that formula. Now, what do we get from this formula? Can we say something about this order that will follow as a consequence of this formula? Note that if we calculate the bth power of h to the power a by one of the rules of exponent, this is h to the power ab, but ab is nothing but the order of p, and since h is an element of p, so by the second corollary to Lagrange's theorem, this is equal to identity. Now we are going to use the result of exercise 36, I think it is, which we have already used in some previous exercises. That is, we are allowed to use this exercise because it appears in this set of exercises itself, and in its proof we don't need anything from, say, a section that comes after this section. So this exercise, although it appears after this one, can be regarded as something which we are allowed to use here, and which actually says that if we have an element, say A, in a group whose mth power is equal to E, where m is some integer, then order of A divides m. It's that result. So that we can now use here. This implies order of h to the power a divides b. Now since a and b are relatively prime, it means that order of h to the power a, since it's a divisor of b. Okay, so let us explain it more clearly. What is the consequence of a and b being relatively prime? It means that their greatest common divisor is 1. Now this is a divisor of b. If it turns out to be a divisor of a also, then it has to be equal to 1. Otherwise it is not a divisor of a. Okay, so this means it will be relatively prime to a. And why we are saying that? If it is 1, then of course this number is relatively prime to a. If it is greater than 1, then it's a positive integer greater than 1. So by the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, it will have a prime divisor. Okay, so that prime divisor divides b. Since a and b are relatively prime, that prime divisor cannot divide a, because then the GCD cannot be 1. So that's why this cannot divide a if it is not equal to 1. So that means in any case this integer, this positive integer, will be relatively prime to a. Either it is equal to 1, or if it is not 1, then it does not divide a. But we are not going to write all those things. We just simply write, since a and b are relatively prime, this gives us the fact that order of HA and A are also relatively prime, or order of the cyclic subgroup generated by HA and A are relatively prime. Because we already know that the order of a cyclic subgroup equals the order of any of its generators. So this is equal to 1. Okay. Also, because of the way we have chosen Q after all it's maximal, that is fine, but Q is a subgroup of PA whose order is relatively prime to A. So that means GCD of the order of Q and A is also equal to 1. So these two are integers which have no factor common to A. I mean there is no common factor between this integer and A, or between this integer and A, other than 1. So since this whole thing is after all coming from these two integers by dividing them by something else, so this number itself will also be relatively prime to A. Hence, if you want, you can give it some number also, say equation star. Hence, star implies that the order of this product and A are also relatively prime. So now this is a subgroup. Okay, this is a subgroup of PA whose order is relatively prime to A. That means it's a subgroup that satisfies the conditions that Q satisfies. Now, since HA belongs to this product, how? HA belongs to the cyclic subgroup because it's the generator of the subgroup, so it will itself belong to the cyclic subgroup, which is contained in this product. You just take HA from this subgroup and you take identity from Q. Their product is HA, so it belongs to this. and but at the same time HA does not belong to Q, we have this. Q is a proper subgroup of this. We already know that Q is a subgroup of this. Keep that in mind, because when you take a product of two subgroups, then it contains both the subgroups as subsets. But now this product has HA which is not there in Q. That means Q is a proper subgroup of this. So note that what we have found now, we have found a subgroup of PA whose order is relatively prime to A, but which contains Q as a proper subgroup, and this contradicts the maximality of Q. But this contradicts maximality or maximal nature of Q. So that means our this contradiction is stemming from our supposition, which must be false. So our supposition that Q is not equal to PA must be false. This proves the claim. That means Q must be equal to PA. And what is the consequence of this claim? This claim tells us that PA is a maximal subgroup whose order is relatively prime to A, in the sense that it has no other proper subgroup whose order is relatively prime to A. No, that's not the thing. It has no proper supergroup whose order is relatively prime to A. If you get a supergroup which is containing PA and its order is relatively prime to A, no, you cannot get anything like that. You cannot get. How can you get a proper supergroup? So this is something we have now proved. Hence, okay, so the consequence we have from this claim is this. Order of PA and A are relatively prime, because for us now PA is equal to Q whose order is relatively prime to A. We already have chosen Q like that. Similarly, order of P